Are you passionate about fire safety? If you are, join us for the rebranded Canadian Fire Safety Conference and Expo hosted by the Canadian Fire Safety Association. Save the date, April 2nd and 3rd at the Venue Event Centre in Vaughan, Ontario. Experience 2 action-packed days featuring a comprehensive trade show and insightful fire protection educational seminars led by industry experts. Connect with professionals, discover the latest innovations, and enhance your knowledge in fire safety. If you're in fire protection, property management, plans or permit review, or just a fire nerd like myself, we've got something for you. Don't miss out on this essential industry event. Register at CanadianFireSafety.com and be part of the future in fire safety.
Like and subscribe.
Great, Terry. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
What will be remembered as your greatest contribution to this industry?
I had to think hard about that. The fact that we save lives, I mean, that's why we're here. We save lives, we save property. It's a noble industry. It's one we can be proud of. My participation, I guess, in NFPA 25 is one that I really reflect on, as I've been very fortunate to be a member of that committee since its inception too many years ago. And I've been involved with that technical committee for up till today. And we've did a lot of good things in order to maintain sprinkler systems, make sure they're going to be effective in a fire event. And so that's probably my biggest accomplishment, other than leading the E&S committee for 8 years. That was quite an accomplishment too. I was proud of that.
I would be too. Off script, how long have you been in the industry? When did you start?
Off script?
Well, not it's a question that was not on script.
Okay. I started in 1973 as a designer trainee with a company called Automatic Sprinkler Corporation of America. And we were like one of the 3 national companies at that time. Shortly thereafter, it came down to Automatic and Grinnell. But I was with Automatic for 22 years, and then Grinnell Fire Protection acquired Automatic Sprinkler, and I came with that acquisition.
That's good. What was the greatest obstacle or personal challenge you had to overcome?
From a business perspective, the fact that I had to go through that acquisition, come over to Grinnell, and since then, 2 mergers with Simplex and now with Johnson Controls. Every one of them came with their own challenges. You know, the people that we were merging with or being acquired by, they didn't know me in a lot of cases. But, you know, through it all, it's been a good experience, but those were probably my biggest challenges.
Do you have any advice for anyone that might be going through something similar? I mean, obviously there's a lot of mergers going on in the contractor industry right now. Do you have any advice to some of the younger generation that might be experiencing, you know, a tumultuous change?
Keep true to yourself. You know, I think that's my biggest advice to anybody is, you know what you're good at, you know what you can do, you know what your capabilities are. They acquired your company, or they wanted to merge with your company because you had something to offer, and you're a person that is part of that company. So just be true to yourself, stay on your principles, and do the best job you can for whoever you're working for.
I love this answer. So how well have you balanced the demands of your job with the demands of family life? And I guess, what was the most difficult choice you faced between your career and family? Is there anything you wish you'd done differently? Just work-life balance in general.
I've been very fortunate since I came into this industry. I was actually in the industry before I was married. So when I married my wife, Robin, she was well aware of what I did at that time, and I was able to travel almost from the very beginning. As a designer being trained to go to job sites, I had to travel up and down the East Coast to go to different job sites and things like that. So she was very understanding of the fact that I'm going to be spending time away from home. I made it a point that unless there was something extraordinary going on, the weekends were my personal life. So I would go anywhere, do anything during the week, during the work week, but I really wanted to carve out those weekends to make sure I was there for my family and to support, my family. Take my daughters to, softball games, and so I didn't miss any of that stuff. But it's a challenge. You have to be dedicated to both, but you have to have an understanding family as well in order to make it happen.
Right.
And I guess my biggest personal challenge that way, there was a point in time where I was working in West Virginia in a pretty nice position. Robin and we had one daughter at the time. It was a strange place, strange people. They weren't getting acclimated very well. And we had to make a decision whether I was going to stay in West Virginia and continue working in that office or whether we were going to go back home. And we went back home, and it worked out. It worked out. And that was about my biggest challenge as far as my career goes.
It's a great example. Who are your heroes and why?
Well, I'm a Christian, and so my heroes are God and Jesus Christ. In the Bible, I love King David. He's one of my Bible heroes. When it comes to the industry, I always looked up to Russ Fleming. Russ Fleming, if you remember the old E.F. Hutton commercial, what E.F. Hutton says, you need to listen. Russ was that way. When Russ talked, he didn't talk just to talk. He talked because he had explored the topic, he knew what he was talking about, he presented it very succinctly, and was very persuasive. There was very few people that had anything negative to say about when Russ would present something. So he's one of my heroes. And James Gollenville, another one of my heroes. His movement through the industry and his influence in the industry is like nobody others. He's just a good guy.
Great. I love listening to Russ talk because that's like a personal goal of mine is be succinct. And I think it takes years of experience to try and be, to develop the skill to be succinct and say what you mean the first time instead of having to over-explain it. But yeah, I always appreciate learning from people that have mastered that skill, for sure. What advice would you give to someone my age?
Be willing to work hard. Be willing to take advice. Be willing to do that life-work balance. Make sure you've got that taken care of. Have integrity. Say don't be honest at all times. Do the right thing even when someone's not looking. Have integrity, and represent your company to the best of your ability, but then represent the industry. And that there's a balance you have to do there as well. Because we're all together in the industry to save lives and property, and sometimes some of our little challenges within our own companies get in the way of us putting good fire protection out there. And don't let that happen. Make sure that we're doing the best job for our customers and for the industry in protecting lives and property.
I love that advice. Which part of your day in your work life brings you the most joy? I'm
a morning person. I start my day with I read my Bible, I pray, and then I'm my most alert in the morning. So if I need I need to focus on getting something done that day, I have to do it first thing. I do all the mundane things in the afternoon, where it doesn't take a whole lot of thought process. But mornings are my best time, and that's when I can usually get the most work done.
I'm the exact opposite. So, building off of that, is there a role that you look back at throughout your career that brought you the most joy or brings you the most joy to think of? Like something that was like, at the time that was really, I hit my stride and, it was kind of the turning point or the best part of my career, or is that now?
Well, now I have the perfect job. So, I'm involved with the industry. I'm involved with lots of codes and standards committees. I pretty much make my own schedule. So it's a very rewarding job for me right now. Going back, I think what really gave me the most knowledge of sprinkler systems and so forth is when I was designing special hazard systems. I had an opportunity when I came back from West Virginia to be a special hazards designer and design water spray systems. That gave me the opportunity to understand hydraulics and pipe sizing. And that really leaped me forward into getting into more of the industry, the nuances of the industry, and gave me a great basis going forward. So I would say that's probably where I picked up my most knowledge at that time.
Good example. How has the NFSA and your involvement with the association positively impacted your life and career?
Well, if it wasn't for the NFSA, I would say I would not be where I am today. I was very fortunate early in my career in the mid-'80s with Automatic Sprinkler Corporation. The person that was on the E&S committee representing our contracting side of the business was retiring. And somehow, some way, he identified me as the person that should fill his shoes. And so in 1988, I was appointed to the E&S committee. And that gave me the opportunity to get to know people in the industry, get to know the codes and standards, and start participating in the codes and standards process. Without that opening that I received in 1988 to join that E&S committee, I'm sure I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today. So I kind of owe it all back to that first appointment on an NFSA committee. And I've been on a lot of different NFSA committees over the years. And fortunately, they give me opportunities. And that's the most important thing for a young person. When you're presented with an opportunity, take it. It's not, you don't have to necessarily seek them out. They will seek you out if you're a good person, good worker. When you're given the opportunity, jump on it, and because you don't know where it's going to take you unless you do. It's like Wayne Gretzky says, you're not going to score a goal if you don't take a shot.
100%. Was there anything in your mind that obviously that person that was retiring saw something in you that made him or her want to say, Terry should be my replacement? Is there anything that made you unique, or that think you made you stand out to be kind of his predecessor, or not predecessor?
Successor.
Thank you.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I firmly believe that God directs our paths. So sometimes, He opens a door, and like you said, you have a choice to walk through it or not. I could not have scripted the way that my career has gone. If I had tried to plan it, 40 years ago or whatever it was, I couldn't have done it. I just, I feel like I was guided to do what I did through the Lord. And again, when the opportunities presented themselves, I took them. And it's been good. I wouldn't change anything.
That's awesome. And I honestly have shivers with you saying that, because I truly do believe that things happen for a reason, even bad things, and that all good things can come out of any situation, positive or negative. And I hope that 30 years from now I can look back at my career and say there's not one thing I would change. And I think everyone would like to say that too. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. What would you tell someone considering involvement with NFSA?
Well, definitely get involved in any way that you can. And you don't have to be necessarily on a committee to get involved. NFSA is very open. They encourage participation for guests. You can come to just about any meeting that NFSA has as a guest and voice your opinion, as long as you're an FSA member. And probably even some non-members. I thought we've had non-members come to the table and give us some of their opinions as well. But, definitely get involved, put yourself out there, share your knowledge. We have a lot of people that come to, the E&S committee is a perfect example. They come to the E&S committee meeting and they just sit there like bumps on a log. And I'm like, well, why are you here? You're representing, your area director, your company, and you're not contributing anything. You need to contribute, and NFSA recognizes that, and the people that contribute are the ones that are now their committee chairman, or they're assigned to other committees. So it's get involved and share your knowledge to the NFSA.
Can you, another off-script question, explain because I don't know that a lot of people entering the industry understand what the committees do, or like the importance of the committees. Can you explain why committees are so impactful and important?
We all have our ideas of what we think is best, based on our own limited knowledge or our experiences. When you come together as a committee, you're getting this group knowledge and these group experiences. And members of that group of that committee are going to mention things that you never thought of. I'd like to make this code change. Well, but if you make that code change, it could affect this over here or have this impact over there. It's like, yeah, I didn't think about that. So by having committees, we're able to talk out issues. We're able to come to a consensus in most cases, and it's better for the industry because we're not relying on one person's experience to drive codes and standards.
It's a great answer. Is there anything that you want me to ask that I did not ask?
No, I can't think of anything, Lainey. I just would, give advice to any person coming into this industry. It's a great industry. We do great things, saving lives and property. Not only that, now we're looking at firefighters and the fact that they've gotten cancers from fires and they're getting killed running into buildings that aren't sprinklered when buildings collapse and things like that. So we're saving them as well. We're saving all the destruction that a fire causes that gets put into the landfills, all those hose streams that are working on that fire, that's getting washed into the streams and the environment. So it's a great industry, and we have a great challenge ahead of us to fight fire. Fire's a terrible thing, and just understand what you do, what your part in all this is, and do your very best to contribute and use your knowledge and your energy towards making a better industry.
Well, the last question, how many airline miles have you accumulated over your career?
I have no idea. I will say that one of the things that helped me with the family balance is my wife does travel with me quite a bit, and she enjoys that. So I get to experience a little bit of home while I'm traveling, but it's been very rewarding for both of us.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of. Caleb, you come up with anything? Melissa, anything you want me to?
One of the questions I always love to hear to people is to talk about the trade-off between success, happiness, and the things that you've done in your life that you look back on that are truly significant, and how you differentiate those three things.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions. That was one of the, yeah. As far as success goes, I've never been one to try to measure my success. I have much more than I ever envisioned that I would ever have. I'm the kind of guy that I'm very satisfied with what I have. I don't, want a lot of things. I feel very blessed with what I've had. And so success, I guess, is doing the best job you can possibly do and maybe get some recognition for it. But don't seek that recognition. It'll come your way if you deserve it. And satisfaction is just putting in a honest day's work and, being happy with what you're doing. If you don't like your job, find another one. I will tell you that. But some people measure success in how much money they make and how big their house is and how many boats they have. To me, that's not how you measure success. It's, do you feel satisfied in what you do? And if you feel satisfied in what you do, then you're a success.
I love that, and I totally agree.
There's my off scripter though. Gratitude. I was saying gratitude throughout your career, and then I opine on gratitude and the impact that that's had. It is a biblical concept, so you cite scripture. How have you maintained an attitude of gratitude, and what would you say to somebody young in their career about the importance of doing that, if you do think that's been important for you?
Yeah, defining gratitude, I am very grateful. I'm very grateful for, every position that I've had, every opportunity that I've had, whatever successes I've had, I'm very grateful for that. And I think that's something that's missing from too many people today, that they almost like they can never be satisfied with, what they're doing or, where they are in life and things like that. I think everybody has something to be grateful for. And just having a job, a career, opportunities, I think there's a lot to be grateful just for that. But yeah, I praise God every day for what I do and how He's blessed me for it. And I'll continue to do that until the day I die.
Who are your best friends in life, and how did they become your best friends, and what do you admire about them?
Well, I've only got one best friend in life, and that's my wife. I've had friends. I'm not a very social person. Those of you that know me from committee work and things like that, I don't go out at night and hang out and things like that. My coworkers, my peers, they're all friends of mine. But Robin, she keeps me straight. She, she's one of the things I have to deal with sometimes is my anger, and she keeps me, in line with my anger sometimes. But we just enjoy doing things together. I don't have any other friend like that. So she's my best friend.
It's amazing, and I hope we can cut that and show it to her.
Don't worry.
Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
This message is obviously going out to all of it, I didn't say, but it's a future leadership committee kind of machine. Can't think of the word, so anything that you haven't already said for the up and coming leaders of the NFSA, just kind of think about that.
I guess the only thing I would add is, we all have common interests, and use the NFSA, use the people that you meet with the NFSA as people to communicate with as part of your business. Don't do what you do in a silo. There's so many good people in this industry that you can reach out to, bounce questions off of, seek advice, take advantage of who those people are around you that you're serving on different committees with, or that you're, meeting at conferences or committee meetings, whatever the case may be, and just take advantage of this whole industry and use it for your own self-satisfaction at what you're doing.
So to kind of build off that question and your answer, what if there is a person that works for a company that maybe doesn't send many people to conferences or yearly committee meetings? How would you recommend that person, address that and express interest in wanting to become more involved in the NFSA or network with its members, etc.? Yes, what advice do you have for that situation?
Most people in our industry thinks that things happen by magic. That NFPA 13, whatever goes in NFPA 13, there's this, deep, dark committee that makes all these different decisions and things like that. And that's not the way it is at all. Through the NFSA, as a member of the NFSA, or even as a guest coming to different meetings and things, you can have an input on things that you don't think are right the way that the codes are. Or maybe there's something in your area that in legislation that you don't think is correct. You can have a real influence on making changes based on your experience. And NFSA is one way to bring that to realization. Come out and get with us and learn how things work. It's not magic that these changes get taken place in codes and standards. It's through work from members of our association in a lot of cases. And so take advantage of that, get involved. And we welcome all the outsiders to come in. They're not really, I don't want to say outsiders, but people that aren't familiar with the processes. Come and learn, and we'll be glad to teach you. We don't want to keep any secrets amongst us. We're out here to do it together as an industry, and we want participation from whoever's willing to be with us.
Great answer. Anything else? We have enough?
Yep.
Good. Thank you very much, Terry. That was awesome.